Hi everyone, Empress Justice here. If you'd like to check out daily readings, you can check them out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also check out the July 2022 reading and the full moon in Uttara Ashada readings on YouTube, where you can find them under Empress Justice Tarot. Now, update on me. I don't know if you notice I'm talking slightly differently. Is because throughout the entire night I've had weapons fired on the side of my head here, all the way up to here. It's a common place that they attack me from because firing along the tooth area is actually very painful because of the nerve endings that are there. So that's usually their favorite spot to hit. They like to hit me in the gum line. They would hit this one already, but that one was already significantly damaged, so they're starting on this one, I guess. The part that I don't understand is why they're only hitting me just enough to annoy me. Because the thing is, last night I was still able to sleep through it. I was still able to sleep through this. And not only was I able to sleep through this, I also had chest pains that were being inflicted on me as well during the night. But I was still able to sleep through both. So I don't understand, like, if you're going to cause me pain, why would it be the case where I was still able to get sleep? There's no point in that. I think partially the nerve damage that I might have sustained from the painkillers over the years might actually be responsible for why I can't feel as much pain as they want me to. I feel like that's part of the reason. So basically their own electronic warfare and their own psychological warfare kind of backfired on them, because if my nerves are too damaged for me to feel the pain of what they're doing to me, then it kind of defeats the purpose. Or it could be that they want to keep it mild because they don't want me screaming the house down, because if I start screaming the house down in pain, then them kids are going to know what's up. In fact, this whole neighborhood is going to know what's up, and God knows people don't want that again. So I think it's just really to annoy me and just to keep everything on a low level, really. Neighbors haven't said anything. If they say anything, it's always behind my back. I know it's always behind my back, but if it's behind my back, it's not worth it. It's not worth saying anything. What else? There's one important thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys today. Now, I wrote a status on my Facebook saying that a bird flew into my window. This happened a few days ago, right? A bird flew into my window, and I was like, man, get the fuck out, get out. The bird wanted to leave anyway. It was like, where am I? Where am I? He tried to escape. I'm like, yeah, you need to leave. You need to be gone. I mean, it was cute and everything, but I don't need any avian activity up in my fucking flat, okay? So a bird flew through my window. It wasn't even the first time this has happened to me. It happened to me, I think, this is twice now that it's happened to me when I've stayed in this flat. When I was living in supported housing, birds were in close proximity to me. When I was staying at my dad's, a bird flew into my window and got caught in the blinds. And, putting all this together, like, I thought it was funny. I thought it was just like, the dopey birds, just flying in anywhere. But then I started thinking about animals in general. The animals in my presence would go crazy. They wouldn't be aggressive, not necessarily. It's not necessarily aggression. But the dogs can hear something and they start barking like mad. And the owners are like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what's happening? So whenever I was around, the dogs would start going crazy. But 9 times out of 10, it was never at me. It was always they were barking at something that they could hear that nobody else could hear. And then with the birds, one of my TI friends brought up that maybe the birds are attracted to a certain frequency, or maybe they're attracted to a certain sound, because there are sounds that animals can hear that we can't. So maybe the birds are responding to that. And I thought, It's a bit ridiculous. I mean, it was only a fucking joke. Like, the bird flew through the window. It's funny, laugh. But now I'm starting to understand. The proof of electronic weapons being used is everywhere. The animals can fucking sense it. The birds can fucking sense it. Whenever you're having these directed energy weapons or acoustic weapons or microwave weapons hit on your body, the sound it sends out attracts wildlife because the wildlife can hear it. They can hear it. Either it attracts wildlife or you know, in the case of dogs, it's like, somebody turn that shit off. So the dogs will start barking like, somebody, I can hear it. Somebody please turn that shit off? I can hear it. Okay? So animals can hear the frequencies of directed energy weapons being used. Birds can definitely hear it because they keep flying in here. So at first, what I thought was really hilarious and funny and all the rest of it, it turns out that there's an actual science behind everything that's going on. The strangest shit. Not a lie though. Cats are the same way. Cats can hear it too, except they kind of sort of like try to hide their paws or whatever. Like, they're not like dogs. Dogs are extra. But if you ever want to know whether electronic weapons are actually being used or not, once again, here, put your hand here. And sooner or later, you'll feel a pulsating wave through your hand to the base of your crown, because that's where the energy has to hit in order for the weapons to hit certain parts of your body. Yeah, do that. And then on top of that, pay attention to what the animals are doing and where they're flying to. Pay attention to where the birds fly. Pay attention to how dogs act around certain people. If they're not attacking if they're going crazy and barking all over the place, but they're not barking at the person, that means harmful electronic frequencies are being used and the dogs can hear it. So that's something to consider. Can't believe I didn't think of this before. Because sound attracts birds. I can't believe I didn't think of this. Oh my God. So that's something important to watch out for a lot of TIs. You see, this is the thing now. I realized that throughout the years, Stranger Things talked about it. I'm obsessed with Stranger Things now. Thank you, Duffer Brothers. But there was one point where the guy who was talking about Russian activity, even though he kind of got it wrong, he said that people are not resistant to the truth, per se. He said that people are resistant to change. And the thing is, if you bring a really, really solid truth to their doorstep, if it is too shocking, and if it's too much of a catalyst for massive change, then they'll resist it. It doesn't matter how much evidence you bring to the table. It doesn't matter how much evidence you put in front of them. If it means that a massive change has to be observed in order for the truth to be observed, they're going to reject it. So what you have to do is you have to kind of water down the truth, keep adding a little bit at a time, until people feel like them discovering the truth was their idea. So that's what you got to keep doing. And unfortunately, I haven't done that. Partially out of insecurity, because people already said I was crazy or whatever. Partially out of insecurity, and partially because I wanted to filter out the fake ones quick. It didn't matter what forum I was on. It didn't matter what, I was always talking about the worst of what the gang stalkers were doing to me, surveying me, assaulting me through the weapons, through the weapons, hitting my ovaries, hitting my hips, hitting my throat, trying to prevent me from singing. So I would always talk about the worst that I was being subjected to. I was always talk about the worst first, out of insecurity, to filter the worst ones out. And in a way, it kind of worked. It kind of worked because, filtering out the ones who expect me to water down my truth all the time, it allowed me time to kind of build up my real authentic self over time. So it worked in a way, but when it came to actually delivering the truth to people, yeah, I refused to water it down at first because, I'm thinking, why the fuck should I water it down? I'm literally being tortured to death. And it's not even just me. People are being murdered out here. Why am I fucking watering it down for anybody? It's literally about life and death, and it's literally about the genocide of millions of people. Why the fuck am I even fucking watering it down for anybody? But yeah, the truth is people are more resistant to change than the truth. People can take the truth, but if it doesn't lead to like drastic changes that have to be made, people can take the truth if it doesn't lead to drastic changes that have to be made. They're not going to be able to handle the truth if it means they have to change everything drastically. If I said right now to everybody, there were electronic weapons being fired at everyone, the dogs can hear it, the birds can hear it, there are people who are dying because of it, and not only that, you've got psychological operations, you've got psyops with informal collaborators, specific individuals being picked out in every community in order to harass a target that's been chosen, to the point where some people end up murdered because of it. And not only do I tell people all of this stuff and they believe me, but I have proof to back it up as well. What if I tell them that it doesn't matter whether I leave here or not, the next person that's going to come over here is likely to be another TI? Because now my imprint is in this building. So it doesn't matter who sells what, who brings who in. The next person after me, 9 times out of 10, is going to be a TI. Only they might be more careful about bringing somebody in here who knows they're a TI. So not only do I have all of this information and I'm delivering it to everybody, I have the evidence to go with it. What kind of changes would people need to make in order to set that right? It's too big. It's too big. It's too big. First of all, how many people would have to compensate one person? And that's just one person. I don't even think I'm the only person who is being fucking targeted here. I don't even think I'm the only person being targeted in this fucking community, let alone in Brighton, let alone in the UK. So what massive changes would have to be made if the truth, my truth, was proven to be right? What massive changes would have to be made? That's why nobody wants to acknowledge it. Because the changes that they would have to make in order to make right everything that they've been complicit in doesn't bear thinking about. So people water that shit down. People wear that shit down. Or people will try to, blow it off as lame conspiracy theory, or try to diminish it, downplay it, because they know the changes they would have to make in light of the amount of shocking truths that I have under my belt. Doesn't bear thinking about. Do you understand what I mean? So the amount of changes that would have to be made. And I forgot to mention the kids at school. Imagine every child at school knew that everything that I was saying was true. Imagine the massive amount of changes that would have to be made. what potentially everybody would have to sacrifice, because you know how vindictive these fucking powerful elites are. You know how vindictive they are. That's why people are resistant to the truth, especially when it's something as horrible as gang stalking. I thought people are liars. I thought people didn't want to be honest. And yeah, some people are, but that's not the point. People aren't resistant to the truth, they're resistant to change. And especially anything big. I should know I'm more resistant to change than anybody. I was forced into that shit. I mean, sure, made me better. Like, because all the things that I want in life, it seemed to be really, really bad for me. And I was denied all that. So I had no choice but to get better. So, I don't know. Maybe change is good for me, but I know resistance to change better than anybody. But that's ultimately what it's down to. I thought people just hated the truth, but that's not it at all. It's change. And especially if the change is too big for them to process. Think about all the things that I've mentioned at once. I've mentioned electronic torture, psychological torture, specific individuals chosen as informal collaborators. I've talked about fucking, EDO, MBM here in Brighton. I've talked about, how far military money actually goes. Like, I've talked about a wealth of different things. The human brain can literally only hold like 4 concepts at a time. How many concepts have I explained in the span of me doing this video? So yeah, that's the root of all of this. People being resistant to change. That's wearing away now. Although I'm talking with the list because of this. But yeah, watch the animals. Watch the animals. And me and my stupid ass. I live in a place that literally has dogs everywhere. Fucking hell, bro. Not even just dogs, animals of every kind. And I didn't notice this. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might take a nap or something. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk soon. Peace and blessings. Bye bye.